Hey, it's Jay, and welcome back to MCU Reviewed. This time we're going to be taking a look at the finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, titled One World, One People. If there's a couple cuts here and there, I apologize. Again, there's a lot that happens in this episode, so I want to just make sure that I keep everything straight. So, let's get started. So the episode's going to start out, and picking up where we left off from the last episode, the GRC meeting is going to be put on hold. It's on lockdown because of the Flag Smashers attacks. Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes arrive in New York City. Sam now donning a brand new outfit, a Falcon outfit, but with the Captain America stars and stripes, and wielding the shield that was taken away from John Walker. And Bucky arrives on the ground level and is intercepted by a pedestrian who reveals herself to be Sharon Carter, who, even though she's still a fugitive from the United States, she takes that risk to come help them out. So it's a big risk for her being there, but that new outfit that Sam has is pretty freaking sweet. So I'll talk about that more at the end of the review. So Carly sees that Sam has arrived and signals for her followers to start with the plan. She wants to round up all the GRC senators via evacuation from the building. Sam goes to intercept this evacuation, but is stopped by Batroc, and they have a fight. At the same time, Bucky gets a phone call from Carly, and she boasts about how even if she doesn't survive the night, her legacy and this movement is so large that even when she's dead, it can still move on. And Bucky's like, you need to stop. Like, you have to think about what you're doing here, because trust me, I know from experience, you're going to remember each and every person you killed, and it's not a fun time. However, Carly doesn't really let Bucky entertain her this much, and she ends the call. So Carly she knows that even if she loses, she wins if things aren't handled properly in terms of stopping their defeat of the GRC, so they can't make this motion to, relocate everybody. So she's really got this all wrapped around her finger and tightly locked in terms of how she's going to execute it. So the GRC are loaded onto transport vans, and Lennox, a flag smasher, puts this locking agent thing on the car so that it can't be opened. Bucky sees this and he follows the transport on a motorcycle. Sharon bumps into Lennox, but she actually placed mercury vapor on him, killing him, thus getting him out of the picture. Some other GRC members board a helicopter who is piloted by Diego, another flag smasher. Sam abandons the fight with Batroc to go and rescue the hostages who are now being taken away by this insane man named Diego. So obviously Sam can't just go rushing onto this helicopter. Diego is armed, and he might hurt Sam, and more importantly, he might hurt the people who he's taken hostage. And so he uses a new Red Wing, to analyze all the hostages and realizes that Isla Perez is a pilot. So if he can take Diego off the controls, she can take over and save the helicopter. However, Diego knows that Sam is right on his ass and uses some EMP to disable an NYPD helicopter that is also in pursuit. So Sam now needs to go save them. And he makes contact with Isla and pretty much tells him, here's the plan. I'm going to get this guy off the controls, and you need to take over. You know how to fly. He's able to knock Diego out of the helicopter into the Hudson River, and Isla's able to land the helicopter safely, saving everybody on board. Carly sees that her plan is starting to unfold a little bit, so she tells her followers about the backup plan if things start to go south, and that is just to kill all the GRC members. You can see on their face that they're like, I didn't really agree to that. But they reluctantly follow in Carly's footsteps to carry out a very heinous act should things go even more south than they already are. So the Flag Smashers have placed these huge barriers to stop the transports from escaping, and they're planning on hijacking them. Barnes, however, Bucky stops them from hijacking, and a fight ensues. However, Carly sets one of the transports on fire, forcing Bucky to abandon that fight to save the people inside the burning transport. John Walker arrives with his newly made shield and is planning on killing Carly for, of course, the death of Lamar, and a fight breaks out. Bucky is knocked into the Hudson because he's overpowered, and Carly, kind of juking Walker, gets into a transport and it's planning to drive it right into the Hudson River. But Walker stops it and is trying his best to, not let it fall into the Hudson, giving up his opportunity to take out Carly and everything like that, but he's knocked down because, of course, there are other Flag Smashers there who try to stop him. Just as it looks like these guys, the GRC members, are going to fall right into the Hudson River and drown, Sam comes and saves the transport from falling into the Hudson. So I really liked how they had that little bit of redeeming factor to Walker there. So as the team regroup, Bucky, Walker, and Sam, Batroc uses smoke bombs to kind of confuse the whole scenario, and the Flag Smashers escape. However, Sam uses heat-seeking vision to track where they're headed, and they follow them down into the sewers. It's revealed that Batroc was hired by Sharon to spy on Carly, because Sharon meets up with Carly in the sewers, and Batroc deduces that Sharon was the power broker this whole time. And he uses that as blackmail, and he's like, well, now you're going to pay me 4 times of what you were going to pay me. And Sharon shoots Batroc, but is also shot in the process. So now she's wounded, and it kind of, the way they shot it makes it look like Carly's the one that shot Sharon. So now we know who the power broker is, and I'll talk about that a little later. So outside, or up on ground level, Walker and Barnes trick Didi, Gigi, and Dovik into the authorities. Those are Flag Smashers. And Sam goes to confront Carly, and he refuses to fight her, and still trying to reason with her, even though she's furiously trying to take him out, and I mean take him out. And just as it looks like she has the upper hand on Sam, because again, even though Sam has all these new acrobatics and is, a little bit stronger, he's still not a super soldier. So Carly gets the upper hand and is about to shoot him, but Sharon ends up dealing the final blow to Carly, and she is killed. And Sam takes her in his wings outside as he's being interviewed, and not interviewed, but this is being aired live on WHIH, and he's talking to the GRC members. And he's pretty much being like, you guys have to try to do something better. We can't just be relocating these people when they've gotten so accustomed to this lifestyle. And he doesn't like that they're being referred to as terrorists. And so he's basically saying, yes, sure, their means weren't the right way to handle it, but their intentions behind the movement were 100% valid. And if we don't put a stop to this motion, the next Carly is going to come back with even more vim and more vigor than she had before, because now they know that a movement like this is possible because there's enough supporters to get behind it. So even though, yes, they were 100% wrong in their delivery on how they wanted this message to come across, they're not wrong entirely. And this is being watched by Isaiah Bradley and Eli Bradley and his sister and Torres, and everybody's watching this. And he's like, I've now donned Captain America, and I know that there are some people who have old ways of thinking aren't gonna like this. But I'm here and I'm doing it because I know it's right, and I know it needs to be done for the people who have bled before me. And so it was a really powerful speech, and the GRC decided to put the Patch Act on ice. So it looks like while Carly did end up meeting her demise, it looks like Sam helped her achieve the goal that she's been wanting to, and obviously a way less bloodier means. And they task Sam to go retrieve Diego from the Hudson River, as that's the last Flag Smasher that needs to get away. They round them all up in a convoy, and just as they think that they can get this motion back in play, Zemo's butler actually detonates an explosive and kills the rest of the Flag Smashers. And we cut to the raft where Zemo's being held, and he looks on in delight as he sees that the Flag Smashers are no more. And there's no suspects in terms of that explosion, but Val knows that Zemo has to be behind that. And she now has John Walker in her possession, but not imprisonment. And he comes out donning not Captain America garb anymore, but U.S. agent garb. So I have no idea what Val's playing at, but I'm sure we'll find out very, very soon. So the rest of the episode pretty much just goes about tying up some loose ends. Bucky goes and meets with Nakajima and tells him the story on how his son RJ met his demise. I'll talk about that one a little bit because I think they handled that one a little poorly. But again, I'll get to that. And then back in Delacroix, Louisiana, Sam, Bucky, Sarah, and all of the people of Delacroix are having a celebratory cookout on Sam's job well done and Bucky's job well done in terms of stopping the Flag Smashers and getting this motion to be stopped, and Sam taking on the new Captain America moniker. Just a big celebration. It was a really great scene. It was really nice just to see a community like that come together, so I really appreciated that. And finally, Bucky gives his completed list to Dr. Rayner, and Sam visits Isaiah for the last time and brings him to the Smithsonian and shows him that Sam had an exhibit put up for him, memorializing his contributions to the country. And as the end credits roll, we now see that the title of the show has changed from The Falcon and the Winter Soldier to Captain America and the Winter Soldier. And in an end credit scene, we see that Sharon is being pardoned for all crimes committed during Civil War, and that she is now back in the CIA. However, she calls somebody in Madripoor and says that now she has access to government secrets. So Sharon is not done yet. And that was the finale of The Falcon and Winter Soldier. Now, I thought the show was amazing. And again, I'll get to my final verdict towards the end of the review, but there was so much here. The action sequences were incredible, and Sam's Captain America outfit is superb. I loved what they did with it. And it's cool that now Cap has an aerial aspect to him. You know, Steve was a great fighter and a great, kind of like a gymnast where he does all these acrobatic things, but now Sam has an air element to it where he can fly. And it adds so much more to the cinematography of these, the choreography of these fight sequences, because now we have airtime involved, and it's really, really cool. Because I've been slacking on saying this, but I love the way that Sam uses his suit in this show. He uses the jetpack, maybe kind of burn people a little bit, and he uses the wings to do flips and stuff. It's really cool. And this outfit is it's phenomenal. I really love what they did with Walker, where he had that moment of, okay, I need to put my disdain for this girl aside, and I need to save these people, and he tries to save the GRC members. I really, really liked that, because, we all know that Walker's very unstable at this moment in time of the show, and so to have that, it's really cool to have that ounce of humanity in there that we didn't really see when he murdered Nico in the other episode. So that was really, really cool. Bucky's character arc it's almost like it's put to rest, like the Winter Soldier's put to rest, when he gives that completed book to Dr. Rayner. The one thing that I was talking about when I said I didn't think they handled it well is the Nakajima thing. That was built up in the first episode, and we've been waiting the whole season to figure, to see him make that amends with Yori, and it's glanced over. Bucky's like, yeah, I did it, and Yori asks why, and Bucky's like, I had no choice, and then it just cut, and he leaves the apartment, and it's like, what? Why didn't we get a little? I mean, we don't have to have a whole story on how he became the Winter Soldier, but maybe we could have been like, I was under the control of some very bad people, and they made me do some very bad things that I'm not proud of, and I'm sorry that this hurt you, but I needed to come tell you this so that you can get closure. I can't stand to see you not knowing what happened to your son on that day. Something like that, and not just, oh, I had no choice, and then cut away to him leaving the apartment. I thought that was just a little rushed, in my opinion. I thought they could have, delved into it just a tiny bit more. I know that it was a long episode, and it didn't need to be a 4-hour segment, but it could have, been explored just a tiny bit more. And again, I love that whole community scene at the end. It's really nice seeing a fun party like that. Kids are hanging off Bucky's arm like he's some sort of jungle gym. It was a really touching scene. But the most touching scene to me was when Sam made the Isaiah exhibit, now letting everybody know what he sacrificed for this country. And it was a really touching scene. It even got me teary-eyed. And I loved that. I loved that so much. I loved Isaiah's whole storyline throughout this show. And just his bitter hatred towards, America for what they put him through. And I'm hoping that now with this exhibit, he starts to see that now that Sam's Captain America and he has this exhibit memorializing him, he starts to have a different look on life in this country. And I thought that was beautiful. I love how Carly is so determined that she doesn't stop to think about what her actions might cause psychologically. Bucky tries to warn her. He tries to tell her, like, hey, you might want to take a couple steps back because I've killed people. I've killed many, many people. And like he says in Civil War, he remembers all of them. And he's like, I don't want that for you. And Carly just refuses to listen because she's so focused on her goal. Which, again, I agree with her goal. It's just that the way she's going on about it, it wasn't right. And that's what Sam was trying to tell the GRC when they kept calling them terrorists and things like that. Because, yes, I don't think Sam was right to say that they're not terrorists. They kind of are. They're using violence for political gain. But I do agree with him saying, like, you guys have to rethink this. Because the next Carly can come, and they will come because they have the support. And they'll come 10 times more ferociously. More ferociously. Great grammar, Jason. But it's one thing I hated about her character and one thing I admired about her character. You have to admit, she was driven and she was very determined. But it's sad that she met her end. And I thought that the Flag Smashers might have more presence in the future movies, but I guess that's not going to happen unless there's another faction that might rebrand it and start over again. In regards to Sharon being the power broker, I had an inkling. I just didn't want to come flat out and say it, but it makes sense. She was acting really suspicious throughout the show, and I'm just excited to see what she's going to use with this newfound power of being in the CIA again. Is she going to, start a new team? Because my buddy actually came up with the theory that she's starting the Thunderbolts. But that could also be Val. I have no idea who, but I feel like somebody's going to start the Thunderbolts because we already have Zemo, who is a big Thunderbolt in the comics. So I have no idea, but I'm excited to see Sharon utilize this newfound power. And I'm just the only thing that comes to my mind is how Peggy and Steve are reacting to Sharon's betrayal like this. Are they in heaven, like, really? Just, looking down on her, shaking their heads. I have no idea. That was just a thought that came to mind because I'm silly. But, yeah, I can't wait to see that. And I can't wait to see Val explored a little more because now that we have the U.S. agent, which, by the way, that costume was amazing, too. Now that we have the U.S. agent, I don't know what her game is. Apparently, we were supposed to meet her in Black Widow, like I said last episode. So I'm hoping that she actually is in Black Widow so that we could see who this person is and get to know more about her. But other than that, very, very solid end to a show that's been solid since the start. I think this is a highly recommended show for people. If you didn't really like WandaVision because of the lack of action, you'll love this show because there's plenty of action to go around. And they're able to balance the action and the story, where WandaVision was more story-focused with a little bit of action here and there. But it's a very solid addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Captain America 4 is confirmed to be in development too, so that's really awesome. I can't wait to see what they do. I hope Bucky is a prominent character in those as well, but now it's time to get to the moment we've all been waiting for, my final verdict for this show. And just like WandaVision, I gotta give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. This show was incredible. I loved every minute of it. There were moments where I was like, there was tense moments, sad moments, powerful moments, and anger-inducing moments. And that's when you know you got a good show, when you feel that many emotions towards it. So definitely go check it out if you haven't. All the episodes are available now, so if you hadn't been watching it weekly like me or most people, you can now binge it because they're all out and available now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. The next MCU Reviewed won't come for a bit because, Loki isn't coming out till June, and the movies aren't part of MCU Reviewed. They just get their own separate review on my channel. Sure, they'll be on the playlist, but they don't get the MCU Reviewed monologue. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for MCU Reviewed again to launch back up in June when Loki starts launching. But I have Mortal Kombat lined up for you guys. Obviously, the next Star Wars Chronicle. So there's a couple things that I have on the plate to be had on this channel. So I hope you guys are looking forward to all of that. And I apologize for the delay on this video too, by the way. I had a pretty crazy work week last week. A lot of early mornings and things like that kind of got in the way of me filming this. I wanted to get it out sooner, but, I got other things to do. So, again, I apologize for that. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. All that stuff really helps me out. And Until next time, guys, that's a wrap.